Okay guys, so in the day of smart devices, there's now even a smart thermostat that you can install. I'm sure you've seen it. This is the former one that we had installed at my parents' house, and they wanted to go high tech. So the first step, you're gonna have all the steps pretty much lined up for you on the app once you scan the code. But these are just some tips of what I found while installing it. The step-by-step instructions, that's not what this is for. This is just tips. So when you see those wires on your current thermostat, don't just yank them off. Make sure you're paying attention to where they are each landed. They recommend you take a picture before you take them out. I agree. So you can remember what the matching wire code is on the smart thermostat. So for those of us that don't like to read directions, please don't just go in there and start taking down this thermostat without making at least a picture, even if you don't use the little sticky tabs that they have, which I think are very handy, but do not stick very well, FYI. If you don't want to label them individually, at least have that picture for reference, because you will need it to make sure that your smart thermostat, and in this case, the Google Nest thermostat, works properly. So do not rush in and just take them all apart. Once again, there is a small little screwdriver that comes with it, which is perfect for this, which is awesome. If you also have one of those little small screwdrivers that you use like to fix your sunglasses and such, I've used those before on thermostats, so that would work too. But make sure you take your time and label each one carefully. Now the tricky part then, taking the base off of the wall, sometimes is not having those stickers come unstuck. Very uncool when that happens, but it can happen. So just take your time and do the best you can. Now that you have them all color-coded or labeled according to the instructions on the Google Nest app, like you're gonna need to install that first, and there's no getting around it, I'm sorry. Carefully take it off of your wall. Be careful, because you see sometimes if it's drywall only, you don't want to remove the anchors until you have something to replace it. It does not come with anchors. At least mine didn't. Make sure you have a way to securely put it back on the wall, because most likely, like in my case, it does not line up with the former zip-it anchors that were back there. The base that you use is going to depend once again on the wall and the surface, and they'll give you clear instructions on that. Follow the wiring diagrams. You see it looks just like it does in the picture on the video, step by step. It really walks you through nicely. It has a nice little level there. Use that, because once it's up, it'll look crazy otherwise. Another tip that I found out later after labeling them and the labels falling off, and I have the picture thankfully to go back to let me know what my color code was for the thermostat I was replacing. Very easy to install once you have them stripped. I tried to use the way they were stripped before, because I did not have a tiny wire stripper, which is really best for this gauge wire because it's so small. I don't usually deal with wires that small, so I did not have it on me. So I did not want to cut them off and restrip it and endanger the wire itself going too deep. But alas, without them being short and a nice tight connection like you see what I had to do eventually in this picture, the Google Nest digital apparatus will not go on it. It will not mount on it. So there's a tip. Go ahead and shove the wires back in the wall if you can. Then you won't have to restrip it. Or if you can't, then go ahead and clip it and restrip it to the best of your ability, taking off as little of the copper as possible. Now it's installed. You see here, it took us a while to figure out that just touching it always doesn't work. You physically tap it, like you press it in order for it to listen to you. And then to dial it, you touch on the outside, that silver rim out there. You're going to glide your finger back and forth to do that. So you see how I pressed it and then slide your finger back and forth. I feel like that wasn't clear in the video. Maybe it is to you, but the video that it gives you when you have the Google Nest is pretty self-explanatory. But there's some things that I feel like they could have gone into a little more detail, at least for me, on. So I hope this video helps you out. I hope you do enjoy it, and that these tips, help you use it. So far, my parents have been enjoying it, and they are not the most tech savvy, and it's working out for them. You have the app on your phone, so you can control the temperature from anywhere you are, which is a plus for a lot of people that use it. My parents pretty much leave it on what it's set on, but maybe you will do otherwise.